leader must know how to administer. And you see, one of the biggest challenges in churches is people know they are theological, but in their administration they are very weak. And so you have the church, and the church is not able to really grow. Because you need both aspects for church. Not this one, I said the leadership video, the email I sent to you. So every leader should have an understanding of what business is like. It helps you to become a little more efficient. And I pray that you do so in Jesus' name. The other aspect of it is ministry requires what? Requires money. It requires resources. And if you are waiting on people to come and just give their little offering, even if they wanted to, if they are not empowered to, if they don't have the resources, what would they give? And so you need to know how to empower your people to help them to get to that place where they can truly fund the work. And nothing says that you as a pastor cannot do business. In the past, people used to say, as a pastor, you can't. What is the meaning of that? You lead by example. So if you can, when it's time to give and you are still struggling, but if you say, hey guys, this is what we are going to do, this is money, then you have mouth. It gives you a voice to be able to tell others, follow. And I pray God will prosper you. Amen. And you will be a pastor who is looking to the hand of his members. Amen. But you will be able to be a blessing in their lives. Amen. When there is a need, you put your hand in the pocket and give. So God will truly bless you. That is why for those of you who have that calling, I pray that God will bring it out and help you to be able to launch out into the deep and truly find what you're supposed to do. Yes.
Alone and look ridiculous. But what he's doing is so simple, it's almost instructional. This is key. You must be easy to follow. Now here comes the...
All right, let's see. This is a funny
If you've learned a lot about leadership and making
let's quickly watch it.
then let's watch a movement happen start to finish in under 3 minutes and dissect some lessons. First, of course, a leader needs the guts to stand alone and look ridiculous. But what he's doing is so simple, it's almost instructional. This is key. You must be easy to follow. Now here comes the first follower with a crucial role. He publicly shows everyone else how to follow. Notice how the leader embraces him as an equal. So it's not about the leader anymore. It's about them, plural. Notice how he's calling to his friends to join in. See, it takes guts to be a first follower. You stand out, you brave ridicule yourself. Being a first follower is an underappreciated form of leadership. The first follower transforms a lone nut into a leader. If the leader is the flint, the first follower is the spark that really makes the fire. Now here's the second follower. This is a turning point. It's proof the first has done well. Now it's not a lone nut and it's not two nuts. 3 is a crowd and a crowd is news. A movement must be public. Make sure outsiders see more than just the leader. Everyone needs to see the followers because new followers emulate followers, not the leader. Now here come 2 more people, then 3 more immediately. Now we've got momentum. This is the tipping point, and now we have a movement. As more people jump in, it's no longer risky. If they were on the fence before, there's no reason not to join in now. They won't stand out, they won't be ridiculed, and they will be part of the in crowd if they hurry. And over the next minute, you'll see the rest who prefer to stay part of the crowd, because eventually they'll be ridiculed for not joining. And ladies and gentlemen, that is how a movement is made. So let's recap what we've learned. If you are are a version of the shirtless dancing guy, all alone. Remember the importance of nurturing your first few followers as equals, making everything clearly about the movement, not you. Be public, be easy to follow. But the biggest lesson here, did you catch it? Leadership is over-glorified. Yes, it started with the shirtless guy, and he'll get all the credit, but you saw what really happened. It was the first follower that transformed a lone nut into a leader. There's no movement without the first follower. See, we're told that we all need to be leaders, but that would be really ineffective. The best way to make a movement, if you really care, is to courageously follow and show others how to follow. When you find a lone nut doing something great, have the guts to be the first person to stand up and join in.
All right. What did you pick from that funny video? What did you pick? Somebody? Anybody? Yes.
Don't stand up.
Sit, no, please don't sit. Don't stand up. Just.
Okay. Leadership is also about our ability to follow.
Very
as
good.
well as to lead.
You cannot be a leader until somebody is following you.
Welcome to Business 101 and the
No. Until you have somebody who is following you, you are not a leader. And that is why it is important for you as a leader, when you are in your department, you are leading a church, that the next person that you bring in is critical. Or the people who are next to you, they are so what? Critical. Any other lesson? Yes. Is what?
Risk.
You've got to take a risk. Without, yes.
Simple and easy. You have to be simple and very.
You have to be simple
follow.
and easy so people can follow. All right. Any other?
Consistency.
You have to continue in it. You don't just say because somebody has not followed me immediately, then you give up. Okay.
How to manage.
You have to manage followers. Yeah.
Treat your followers as your equal.
Ah, very good, very good. If you do not, the first group of people that come after you, if you don't bring them to your level, you cannot replicate the thing. So when the first group of people that follow you, you have to build them up. Even if they're not at your level, you have to build them up so they can really expand the work. Yes. Make your followers visible. Yeah.
Have the courage to stand out.
Have the courage to stand out. So all of these things are important. Okay, now I'll take one more. Yeah, two more.
Yeah.
Because you had it.
Don't expect immediate acceptance of what you're doing.
It's not the first day that you start that you find people. You know, when we were still 8 in this church, it was when we would go to 12 and then the next Sunday you will find only 9 people in church. It's almost like, boy, what happened? Did I say something last week that was yeah.
Determination.
What? You have to be determined. You have to be determined. You cannot afford to give up. So you have to pursue the vision. Okay. What I want you to get out of there is the work we need to do requires those principles. Because we are in this work of expanding or enlarging the kingdom. And if we are going to bring other people into it, then we have to increase our leadership. You have to become a leader who will not be dissuaded because of what you see that is not, people have not gravitated towards you, or because you see, oh well, it's not so big yet. You have to be determined to continue and do it. But you have to embrace those who are working with you and take them to the next level. The reason why you are in this class today is because we are embracing you as equals in this work. So that when we commit work to you, I don't have to look back. I know that if I give an assignment to Niyi, he will do it like I will be there. Do you get the point? But he will not be able to do it. You see that embracing those who are, requires that you lift those people up. And that is where the first topic of our discussion in your book, 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, comes from, about your lead. Before I talk a little bit more about the lead, how many of you have read the first 3 chapters of the book? If you have not read it, don't raise your hand because I'll call you. Okay. All right. Next week, you didn't get the book. You didn't come to pick it up, Russell. Taffy, did you call Russell to come and pick up that book? No. You spoke with Dion. Okay. All right. So you don't have your book. After the program, get your own book. All right. The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. It's a book that I feel is very, very good, at least for every individual to understand leadership and know what is required to take your leadership to the next level. These laws can be learned, and that's why we are learning them. That means you can take your leadership to another level if you truly learn these principles. The second thing is that these laws don't stand alone. Today I will give you the grace. I won't pick on you. But next class, when you are your teacher, they will call you to ask you about what you have read. Okay? So chapters 2, 3, and 4 by next class must be read, understood, so that when your teacher calls you to explain, you must be able to tell them what it's all about. Or the way I go about it is I just give you a sheet of paper and tell you to write as part of your assessment. Okay. So the second part of this thing is that these laws can stand alone. They don't need to. You don't have to have one to be able to do the other one. They can all stand on their own. Now, number 3 is the laws have consequences. When you don't follow them, you will see the effect in your performance. You will see the effect in your performance. And these laws form the foundation of real leadership. That's why, even though some of those who have gone through leadership training with me, they have gone through this material, but I want them to, it's a refresher for some of them, but it's important for every one of us to understand this leadership principle. The first law in the book is called the law of the lead. The law of the lead. That is, leadership ability determines a person's level of effectiveness. Leadership ability determines how effective you are. If you do not have leadership ability, you may have potential, but you will not achieve much. And it is critical that if you want to achieve, then you have to spend time learning leadership. You have to become a student of what? Leadership. Let's say this is your success dedication. You are a person who is dedicated to succeeding, and you are an 8. And yeah, I have motivation. I want to succeed in life. But your leadership ability is a 1. Your effectiveness is this. Can you see? You are determined, but you are missing certain fundamental things about leadership to take you to the next level. No, you can start a church. Anybody can start a church. But your ability to take that church to the next level is a function of your leadership. You are passionate about church, you are passionate about, but if you are lacking in leadership, you won't know how to get to the next level. I have, since I started this work in ministry, I have read so many materials on leadership. Every year I have gone to the Global Leadership Summit. Every year. I'm still learning. And you are seeing what other people are doing. You are being exposed to what other people are doing. You are learning new principles. That is how you become more effective. Pastor, how did you get this vision? You learn when you are improved on your leadership. So if you are a 1 on leadership, the moment you can raise your lead, you see this lead determines how far you can go. But let me give you an illustration quickly. When I was in banking, there was a guy who had taken a company to a level, and he had done fairly well. He was uneducated. He had done fairly well. However, when he came for a proposal, he brought a proposal to the bank to be funded. One of the things when I was appraising the proposal was that I saw that over the past few years, he had been struggling to take the company to the next level. And I was trying to find out what is it that has kept this man who has taken this thing from this level to this level. Why has he not been able to? Because the opportunities were there. But he had not been able to take it to beyond a particular level. So the Lord gave me insight, and I realized that he's what we called it then is executive capacity. That is his leadership ability was placing a lead on that company. And so to be able to take that company to the next level, we need to bring in either people who had that capacity and ability to take it to the next level, or the company would either stay there or start to go down. From the last time, I think he couldn't accept the fact that he didn't have it, and he wasn't able to, because he was totally on red. He didn't know how to develop himself. And when you told him, well, you could attend this way, he just couldn't relate to it. And so from what I had the last time, the company started going down. So when God places a work in your hand, in your department, your ability to take it to the next level is a function of your leadership. If you do not understand these principles, you will lead your department, and your department will not be doing well. It will only stagnate at a point. Okay? But if you increase your leadership lead to an 8, guess what? You can increase your effectiveness by at least 600%. Are you understanding the principle of the lead?
Amen.
All right. So now, these books that you have, they are not for your shelves. If you are going to increase your leadership lead, guess what? You have to what? Read. You have to read. Learn. It took me, when we started church, I started studying and said, Lord, how do I move the church from 10 of us to 50? There are materials that will help you. Find what is it that you are lacking. What are those things that you need to do? So I learned how we could go to 50. And then, okay, we could go to 100, because these are limits over churches, if you don't know that.
Amen.
There are some, you don't learn those principles, your church will still be under 50. You get to 50 and don't come down again. To 50 and come down again. But when you learn those principles, you get to 100, you learn the principles that take you from 100 to 250. You learn the principles that will take you from 250 to 500 to 1,000. So you have to do something to lift the lead of your leadership. Tell the person next to you, you have to lift that lead. In the book, it tells of the story of the guy who started McDonald's, Ray Kroc. This guy started the business. He took it to a level, he couldn't move it any further. He sold it for next to nothing to the, what are those brothers called? McDonald, no.
Deacon Morris.
What?
Deacon Morris.
McDonald Brothers, but they had I think they had another name.
It is the brother that sold it to the single person.
No. Sold it, the brother sold it to Ray Kroc. Thank you, very good. The brother sold it to Ray Kroc. Okay, thank you. So these brothers, they took it to a level they thought, and then they sold it to one person, and that person has taken it to another level because their leadership ability was limited. The lead of your leadership will determine how far you're going to go. That's why you must do everything. You must study, you must learn, you must expose yourself. Over the years, I've taken some of you to the Global Leadership Summit to see what some people are doing. But, by the way, if you are the best student in the class, you get a free pass to the Global Leadership Summit in August this year. So it's up to you. All the teachers will get together to determine who's being the best teacher, the best student. All right? Say, what? That says she's going. That means she wants to work hard for it. So by raising your leadership ability, without increasing your dedication is still, but by raising this capacity, you can really, truly achieve more. You can truly achieve more. Do you get the point? So in your different departments, if you want to really become effective, just learn some of these principles and start applying them. You will be amazed the results that you will get. You will be amazed on the results that you will get. Because leadership has a multiplying effect. It multiplies your effectiveness. Not just adding, it's multiplying your effectiveness. You get the point? Okay. So if you're going to apply this law, there are certain things you want to do. Number one is list your major goals. List your major goals that require the cooperation of other people. List your major goals. And those ones that require cooperation with somebody else. Maybe it's your department. You need other people in your department to work with you. Maybe it's your church. You need other people to work with you in your church to take your church to the next level. List them, the major goals. Number two is assess your own leadership skills. You have to self-evaluate. Self-evaluation is critical in life. Where am I? Am I that good, or am I still in process or way down? If you know that you have not been effective leading, then you must be able to identify where you are. Assess your own leadership skills. Number three is ask others to rate you. Just find my friend, what do you think of my leadership? And say, be ready for any answer. So when somebody says you are always late, they are rating you. When somebody says you are always upset when somebody talks to you about things, they are assessing you. So it is important that you learn how to accept feedback from others. Do you get the point? And not be upset because you think it's a criticism about you, but really it's about how you get better. Do you get the point? So when they give you their feedback on a scale of 1 to 10, you now compare those scores with your own assessment. And when you have seen, maybe you have been giving yourself a 9, and they give you a 3. Take the feedback, but be sure that you are asking people who genuinely care about you, you value their opinion, so they can give you genuine feedback and not just destroying you. So when you do that, you just compare and then now say, okay, I need to work on these areas. This principle, these 21 laws will help you to identify those areas where you are weak. And now what do you need to do to move yourself forward? Do you get the point? Good. All right. The second law, what? Is the law of influence. The law of influence. The true measure of leadership is influence. Nothing more, nothing less. Nothing more, nothing less. If you are not able to influence people, you are not a leader. You may want to think you are a leader, but you are not. So when you say you have influence, what does it mean? Let me ask you. What does it mean to say you have influence? Impact other people, okay.
How you're able to affect others?
How you are able to affect others, okay.
Ability to change others.
Ability to change others. Ability to make others do things, okay.
As a role model.
What?
Play as a role model.
A role model for
Ability to make people do things like you.
That is so good. That is so good. The ability to make others participate and do the things the way you're doing it is really influence. What I'm trying to do in this class is to influence you.
Yes.
What this program is all about is for all of us who are teaching you to influence you. To become a little, when you look at the life of Jesus Christ, all that he was doing with his disciples was to make them look be like what? Like him. Like him.
Change the way of thinking.
Exactly. All that is, it will start from changing the way they think. Changing their values. Changing their attitudes. So when I'm saying, well, you need to be in class by this time, you need to do this, you need to do that. Well, it's because I want to influence. Don't worry. It's because I want to influence you to be a leader. And you will see when we get into the ministry class, I will show you a video. And you will see how my own pastor influenced me. Influence is one of the biggest things you would have to apply or develop as a leader. If those are people in your congregation, in your group, you are not able to influence them to participate and do things like you, and that means when they say you want them to do things like you, what does that really say about you who is trying to influence the other person?
Excellence.
You have to what?
Excellence.
You have to live excellence first. I don't require people to do anything that I'm not able to do. I don't. So when I tell you, be in class at 9:30, be sure that I'll be in that class before 9. Because I'm trying to teach you something. I'm trying to influence you that the way you're going to get excellence out of people is you have to live a life of excellence. So when I'm asking you to read, to study, every material that I ask you to study, believe me, if you look in my own book, I have read, I've highlighted everything. So if you are going to lead, you have to live by example. You have to live right first. You cannot expect people who are following you, who you want to influence, to be doing better than you. And that is why, even in terms of giving, for example, you have to live that life. That's why I'm praying. That's why you see that pretty much all of our pastors in-house are into business. Pastor Eddie is getting there. Because you live by example. One of my prayers is that God, everything that the church pays me, I want to be able to give back. Amen. I'm not even, did you send me my record of giving? I've not seen it. Which email did you send it? Okay, I will come to ground. My junk mail, okay. It would have been deleted now. If you sent it a while ago. And I've been going in that direction. So I probably believe maybe this past year I would have reached it. You have to live by example. If you're going to influence other people, influence them right. That is why the Bible tells us that as an adult, you cannot mislead the little ones. And if you are going to mislead the little ones, it will be better for them to put a rope around your neck and that is the responsibility of leadership. That is why when I'm telling you, do this, I'm not just telling you but based on the scripture we read earlier, I'm going to be accountable to God for it. Are you getting the point? Amen. I think I'm saying I'm getting the point.
We're in training.
I'm just checking to be sure that
we're in training, that's why.
You are with me. Okay. All right. Now quickly let's go through some of the major things in this law. There are several myths that the book talks about. Who knows the first one then? Management and what? Management compared with leadership. All right. What is the difference between management and leadership? What is the difference? Yes.
Management follows strict rules.
Okay.
And leadership has a vision and is personalized.
Okay. Very good. Sure.
Management is like keeping a process.
Okay.
Keeping the procedure of maybe a company. But leadership is changing the process or whatsoever the company has been doing.
Okay. It's about influence. Maintaining processes, systems. Yeah.
Leadership is about creating vision and influencing others
to follow that vision. Very good.
Management is making sure that the vision that is created, the process continues.
Very good. Very good. Very good. Frank, you have something different? Or you want to read from the book?
Leadership can actually change people.
Very good.
Management, you cannot change it.
Exactly. Leadership is really about changing people, moving people from A to B, influencing them to be able to carry out the vision. But management is about really following the processes and maintaining those processes. So is leadership the only thing we need?
No, we need
management.
We also need what? Management. Your ability to do both is critical. Your ability to do both is critical. It doesn't mean that management is bad. It just says if you're going to get people to really follow those processes and do the right thing, you need leadership. But the system itself, getting those things done, is the process. Is the process. And somebody has to supervise that. So in an organization, when we say, all right, leadership says, well, in this church we are going to, for every transaction of the church, 2 people have to sign the check. Leadership says, guys, this is what we need to do, and this is why we need to do it. And they now say, oh, okay. They understand it and I want to do it. Management says, Pastor Opa is there and says, you got to sign, 2 people have to sign the check, and you got to return a receipt. You have to have a receipt. Managing the process. Because everything in the church, for us, must go through the account. That's the system. Every penny that comes to this church must go through the account. That way we can trace every penny. Because accountability is critical for me. We have to be able to account for every penny. And so, to be sure that everybody is protected, we have 2 people to sign. So it's not just, oh, one person just decided to sign a check. And then when there's an issue, they now say, oh, well, what happened? The person, it can't be just one person. 2 people have to agree to do something. And so it protects those signing. It protects the church. And so that system is there. And for accountability, you got to return a receipt. When you buy something, provide the receipt. Taffy, she hands me down for receipts. Say, Pastor, I've not seen this receipt. I say, okay, all right. I'll make sure I provide the receipt. Or give her access to be able to get those receipts. That is managing the system. Do you get the point?
Yes.
All right. Okay. The next myth is what? Entrepreneurship. Being an entrepreneur versus being a leader. Why is an entrepreneur not necessarily a leader? An entrepreneur starts,
Entrepreneurs look like an opportunity and explore.
Okay.
Leaders necessarily do not, an entrepreneur doesn't necessarily commit totally. Once he explores and gets the profit, it's on to the next venture.
Okay. So an entrepreneur they are really looking for opportunities and being able to tap those opportunities. While leadership requires what?
Being able to influence people.
What?
Being able to influence people.
Being able to influence the people, to be able to fulfill that vision, that what you have started. What you have started. Okay. All right. So you can be an entrepreneur, it doesn't make you a good leader. You may be an entrepreneur, start a business, do whatever, but you don't care about people, you can destroy people in the process. So if you're going to be effective as a leader, as an entrepreneur, if you're going to be effective as an entrepreneur, you need leadership skills. You need leadership abilities. For you to be a great pastor, you need leadership abilities. You may start with it. You may do, this is what. But if your leadership is weak, then you can move the thing to where it needs to go. Okay? All right, number 3. The knowledge myth. What do you understand by knowledge myth? Leaders, yes. Your participation is going to be part of your grading.
So the fact that you are knowledgeable doesn't mean that you can be a good leader.
Yeah, you can be a professor, Papa, and you still you're not a great leader. Exactly. You may not have knowledge, but you may not know how to communicate that. And get people to really do what needs to be done. Do you understand? Okay.
The knowledge will actually make you unreachable because you feel so high because you know so much.
Well, you can feel too much about yourself. Get over yourself. Tell the person next to you, get over yourself. The pioneer myth. Pioneer myth just says that a pioneer is the first person that does something. They are the first person that starts. But that doesn't make you a great leader. You know, when we got into Harrisburg, or in those days before we started the church, there was a group that was meeting in the place who were Christians, but they just couldn't launch the thing. They were the first group of people of Africans, I would say, not Nigerians, but they just couldn't take the leap and go with it and run with it. It was after we came in and we started, everybody was, oh yeah, we want to do. But you see, we could have started the way we started, but if we are not moving up, if we are not leading, if we are not developing, those who are coming behind can't find something to say, oh yeah, we want to be like that, we want to be like that, we want to do this. They now have the vision that it is possible. You know, when we started, a number of people came to me and said, Church, African church can't work in this area. Point blank, they said it to my face. They said, this thing is don't worry about it, it can't work. So they started with, oh, it's a Yoruba church. Then they went from a Yoruba church to, okay, it's a Nigerian church. And after a while, they said, all right, it's not a Nigerian, it's an African church. And at that point, where they are, because you now have several Americans in it right now, it's getting to that place where when we really take off, it will be an international church, the Church of the Almighty God. That is why no single group must be doing their own thing. It must be a church for God. It's not a church for Nigerians, or a church for Liberians, or a church for Ghanaians, or a church for... No! It's an international church.
Amen.
So as we grow, as we develop, then God takes us to another level. For those who have designated areas where they are from, it's not like the French church or the Haitian church. They are not there just to cater to those people who are just from the area. They are there to be able to move other people. Are you learning?
Yes.
Is somebody getting something from all that?
Yes.
All right. The fifth is the position myth. Your position doesn't guarantee you that you're a leader. If we can call you, we can make you, yeah, this is the head of the ushering group. People will say, oh yeah, this is after a while, they don't see that you performing. Leave us alone. Your position doesn't guarantee that people will follow you. They can look to you for a while, but if they don't see leadership, they go elsewhere. So you can call yourself a pastor, you can call yourself a deacon, you can call yourself anything. And I know pastors who are sitting over 5 people congregation and they calling themselves Archbishop. At least start another church. And you can call yourself an apostle. All right. So your position doesn't define that you're a leader. Do you get the point? Okay. To apply this law of influence, you need to take 3 steps. One is ask yourself which of these 5 myths you have believed in the past. You have to, what have I thought of that I think I believe that this is, I'm a leader because I've been called, pastor has appointed me as the head of the praise and worship group, or the ushering team. You have to know which one of those myths you have believed. Rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, each of those factors, and see where have I fallen short here. What must you change in your current thinking, to make you more open to improving your leadership in the future? You have to be able to think and say, you know, I can't just be a person who believes that because they made me I'm the one that started this group. Because you can start any department. It doesn't mean that you are leading. In fact, there may be people who under you who can lead better. The second thing that you have to do to apply the law of influence is what do you usually rely upon most to persuade people to follow you? What are those things that you rely on to persuade people to follow you? Yeah, I'm the leader here. You better do what I say. It shows that what you are leaning on is your position. Oh, I started this thing. So what? Is it warm now? It's warm. Okay. When I finish this, then we'll take a little break and on the AC a little bit in the winter. Then you have to understand certain things. What these principles. Character. Who are you? Who are you? Several factors that really make you a leader is, number one is, who are you as a person? Who are you as a person? True leadership always begins with inner person. True leadership can only begin in the inner person. And people can sense the depth of your character. And you know what character is? What is character?
Doing the right thing even when no one is looking.
Who you are when nobody's looking, okay? Any other? What? Your identity, okay. Your values, okay. What you regularly do? If you have been lying to people, you become what? If you steal, so it is important that you know, because you can't change anything that you don't really discover in yourself as a person. Say, you know what, I do this thing. This is not right. You cannot change it until you determine who you are. And say, no, I can't continue to do this. The second thing is relationship, which is who you hang out with. Who do you know? Who are those people around you? Who do you know? Who do you know? Your deep relationship with the right people, you can become a real leader in an organization. Guys, the people you hang out with will influence your life. Whether you realize it or not. True. They will influence you. So if you are really planning to be a leader, you need to hang out with people who have leadership skills. One of the reasons why we are going to be hanging out together for the next 12 weeks or so.
Because you're all leaders.
You are all leaders. And I want to rub off some of what we have. I want to rub off some of what we have on you. So we can also pick some of what you have.
Yeah.
So that relationship becomes important.
Yes, sir.
If you are going to be a real good leader, the people you hang out with are critical. They're critical. You can't become, there's this thing, birds of the same feather. There's a nasty one in my language. And it says something like this. In Africa, dogs stray around and they eat all sorts of rubbish. So they say in my language that a sheep that starts hanging out with dogs will start eating poop. Because dogs can eat poop. So if you are hanging out in the wrong places, with the wrong people, guess what? They are going to define who you are. But just one person in your life with the right place, going in the right direction, you hang out, can turn your life in a different direction. Knowledge. What do you know? What you know. information is vital. Information is what? Vital. What you don't know can hurt you. And if you're going to know, if you're going to grow, if you're going to achieve, you have to know. That's why being in this class right now, we are learning, it's improving what we know. Do you understand? For me, I just told you, learning how to get your church from one level to another, how to relate with people, how to influence people, you have to learn those things. And you have to know them. Because if you don't know them, guess what? You'll be wondering, why is it not working? Intuition. Intuition is what you feel. As a leader, you must have intuition, the right intuition, to be able to sense. And intuition is an intangible thing. It's not something concrete. So you can, when somebody is starting to misbehave in church, you can see them as something is going on with this person. And be able to say, let me see if it's a situation that you can redeem, talk to the person, and if it's a person who is going to damage, you'll find a way to just sideline them. Your intuition is important. Don't write them off. So you have to, your intuition is a powerful tool for you as a leader. And when the church is moving forward, you can sense it. And ride that momentum. And get the best out of it and say, yes, this is the time to move.
Yep.
If you miss that time, it's going to be difficult to bring it back. Experience. Where you have been. See, if you don't know much, you can't give out much. You have to have gone through certain things in life. You have to have experienced certain things. The greater your past challenges, the more likely followers will be willing to let you lead them. Because they know that you have gone through some of those things. You see, when I'm preaching and I'm talking and I'm saying, oh well, in those days when this was like this, we had only one, we had to go through the food bank, we had to go through those challenges, those experiences. When I'm sharing them, you can say, oh, I can relate to that. I know what Pastor is talking about. And so when I'm saying, this is what we need to do to get there, you are ready to what? Yes, follow. So when I'm saying, well, we need to have, right now downstairs people are being attended to in the food bank. But I used to get food from the food bank in the school where I used to teach. And so when it was time to start a food bank, I said, God, you see, some people are going through what I went through then. Yes. So, guys, let's do this. So by the time I bring it to the church and say, guys, how many of you realize that there are people in this country right now who are struggling financially to be able to feed their families? What can we do about it? Why don't we start a food bank? But we will need some people who will volunteer to man it. And some people, yes, Pastor, I will man it. I will do it. Then you have influenced them with that vision based on your own experience, and then you are able to achieve. Do you get what we're talking about? Finally, ability, what you can do. People will follow you for a little bit. If they see that you are not getting results, they will leave you. Oh yeah, and it's a simple thing about life. In the current election going on, the Vice President Biden has been calculated. Yeah, even though people could see the challenges, but when he lost the Iowa, New Hampshire badly, you see votes just moving away, the polls just moving away from him to other people. When you are not performing, people will move away. That's right. Because everybody wants to be with the winner.
No respect.
One of the reasons, that is why you have to be continuously innovative as a leader. If as a church today we stop moving forward, after a while people get complacent. But the moment you say, oh, when we were on mountain, we were on marketplace, say yes, we want to move to a church of our own. People, yeah, what can we do? Let's raise up. And people say, oh yeah, and we bought Progress Avenue. Everybody was excited. This is a place, we will use this place for a long time. And I was laughing, he said, and God, you see, the moment you succeed, you are succeeding, people will follow you. Because they want to solve a similar thing in their lives. So as a leader, you have to be continuously thinking, what will take us, God will continue to give us that edge. The moment you think you have arrived, you have missed it. You have to continuously be moving forward. That is why as a leader, you cannot just say, the reason why we are having this program is because you are needed to take the church to the next level of explosion. You think this is it? Oh, I pray God will open your eyes to see where God is going. Not where we want to go, where God is going. When you see where God is going, you will be really privileged to be a part of it. I pray God will be with you. Amen? Amen. Let's take a break. We'll take 10 minutes break. And by 10 minutes, 10 minutes, you have bathrooms